Alright guys, welcome to our new online class. For this video, I want to introduce you to the project we're going to be working on over the next couple of weeks. And I want to make sure you get a good understanding of all the details that go into this project. First off, when you log into the Moodle page, note that the due date for this unit is April the 8th. That means everything is, of course, going to be due by this time. But I'm going to have some other little mini due dates to show me your progress, to make sure you're working on this project and that you're paced along and you're covering all the important information. So when you log in, scroll down to the bottom of your page and look at the package design unit. You can read over this brief introduction, but I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and let's look at the project information. The first thing I want to point out is that there are 4 different groups of games, and you are going to be randomly placed into one of these groups. So you're not going to see all 4 of them. You are only responsible for designing the game that you're inside of for that group. Now for my instruction and for my examples, I'm going to be using concentration as the example. But if you've got 6-card golf, war, or streets and alleys, your setup is going to be exactly the same. The first thing you need to do is download the instructions and the information packet underneath the project. So when I download concentration, here I've got my zip file, and inside of the folder you've got all the different information for this project. Now here's what we're going to be creating. You're going to make a package design for a card game. In this case, the card game is going to be concentration, or whatever game that you've been assigned to. So when you make the package for this, you're designing the box that it goes in, all of the cards that go with the game, and also an instruction sheet that tells how to play the game and the game rules that goes with it. So when you open up this, here's all the information that goes with it. Let's look at this project package design PDF that I give you, because this goes over the entire thing. We'll make mine larger. Whoops. Oh, come on now. There we go. We'll make it larger so that we can read along and get an idea of what this is doing. So for this project, like I said, you're responsible for creating a package design for a playing card game. Now the focus of this unit is to make sure the style of your package is consistent with the needs of the product, and it has to appeal to a target audience. In other words, you can't just design anything that you want for the package and the cards. It has to fit the feel of the game, and it also has to appeal to a certain target audience that I'm going to give to you. Now your design has to be functional, and it has to include all the information that I give you, and it has to be an original idea. In other words, don't go find something from somebody else's done and apply that to yours. I want to see your design thoughts and skills put into this package. Now here's the thing. Your playing card package has to appeal to a younger generation that plays card games with their family. Now I'm going to assume you've at least played some sort of card game in your lifetime, maybe with your family, maybe by yourself. So you get an idea of how card games are played. But your design needs to appeal to a younger generation that plays kind of family game night. So this doesn't need to have anything that's got more of a mature theme, that's got weapons, or maybe it's got some video game or characters that older generations would play. This has got to be something that appeals to younger kids and their families that would play along with them. So think on that. That's the first thing you need to research. What's appropriate pictures, themes, colors, that sort of thing. How would you sell that? Next, you'll be given an overall theme for your deck's design. We'll look at that in the next thing. And that theme needs to be carried over into the cards box. The card box is going to hold the entire deck of cards, and in addition to that, it should feature the name of your game, a brief description of how the game is played. So think on this. When you go to the store and you go to the toy aisle and think of all the different card games that are there, you're seeing the package that you designed. What's something that would capture your attention to be able to see your cards, your card design? You pick up your package, you can turn it over, you get an idea of what the artwork looks like. You should be able to see what the game, a description of the game should be and how it's played. And then finally, you're going to create a simple instruction sheet, a little one-page sheet that tells how to play the game. So there's 3 things you're creating: the card box, the entire deck of cards, and the instruction sheet that goes into all of this as a package. Everything should be nice and consistent, and of course it should be well designed. Now, each deck of cards is going to have 4 suits to them. I'll talk to you about what I mean by a suit. It's going to have number cards and face cards. So just like a traditional, quote, poker set, it's got ace, it's got 2 through 10, king, queen, and jack. You have to create the layout for all 52 cards. You are designing 52 cards for this package. The entire deck should be consistent with their look and feel of their design, and it should be easily readable, and of course, it should be something that appeals to a younger generation. Both the front and the back need to have some sort of design. Now, here's what I mean by front and back. If you've ever looked at a card deck, you can see my little example up here. The back of a card is really the same design for every card that's there. So there's really only one design you're going to come up with. And the front of the cards don't have to be anything overly complex. You're essentially giving whatever value it is, so a number or an ace, king, queen, jack, and then you're putting your design on top of those. So these, while they may be tedious in a lot of them, it's essentially you're designing the same thing over and over again. You're just updating the information for those cards. But you are designing 52 of them, so it is a kind of a big deal. Now, I will let you design 2 Joker cards as your extra bonus day. So if you need an extra day to work on this, I'll allow you to do 2 Joker cards, making it a full 52 deck of cards. So that's what we're going into. Here's the project details. This will be a standard poker-sized deck of cards, and we'll talk about how to set up your document so that it's exactly these sizes with the 1/8 of an inch bleed. Now, the company that we're going to send these off to, because these look really good once you send them off and you get them printed and you put them in your portfolio, you've got a nice physical thing to show off, is BoardGamesMaker.com. They're going to provide you with a template for different kinds of card boxes, and I'm going to let you choose whichever box that you want. The instruction sheet needs to be 7 by 10, so it's got to fit on a 8.5 by 11, be cut down, and it's going to be folded down so that it fits inside of your box. The name of your game has to be on the cards, the box, and the instructions. You must have that name on the cards, the box, and the instructions. You're designing that particular game. You're not just doing any deck of cards. It's got to be cards for that game. And of course, all parts of the box should have some sort of design on it. No blank areas. And we'll talk about that once we get into some of the exercises. So there's the overall project details that we're going to go into. Next thing we'll talk about are some of the details about the specific game that you are going to be covering.